Good afternoon, it's Lynn here from the Learn English Network on Tabletop in Kitely. And if you want to know what I mean by tabletop, if you've been trying to get in, I've been sending teleports out, but I think a few of you are having connection problems. Always click on the teleport devices, these little S devices. Click, and then you'll see Tabletop MOU. It's meant to be Tabletop Mountain. Click on that, and then click again on the teleport. Without teleport, oh, that's strange. Nina has problems teleporting. That's odd. Okay, sometimes these things do go wrong. My connection is not good. Traum is with me. Hey Nina, you made it! Okay, so let's see if I can get Traum as well. Thank you for letting me know, Nina. And let's see if we can find Traum. No, Traum's not there. Traum's not actually online, according to me. So I'll send her a message. Yeah. Okay. So Nina, can you hear me? Can I hear you? Okay, you can hear me. What about, can we hear you? I think Shiny's worried she's going to have to do all the talking today, which will do her the world of good.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi, well done. Okay. It can be frustrating, I know. And poor Traum's not even showing up as online for me, so I think it's just one of those days on the internet. But we're here now, and hopefully you can see around you. You should be able to see some chairs. Nina, you're already sitting on one. And then we've got some bar stools and a bar and a couple of strange items that you might not... what can you see on the bar, Shiny? What can you see sitting on the bar?
Lots of bottles of alcohol.
Yeah, bottles of alcohol, yeah. Anything else?
Beer, a jug of beer, 2 jugs of beer.
Yeah, 2 big glasses of beer, yeah. Anything else? What about at the end of the bar? Traum, welcome, you made it. Have you got voice, Traum?
Hi, Liv. Nice to see you all.
Ah, hello. Well done. I'm afraid you weren't showing up for me at all, so I had to send you an instant message. You were showing up as offline. Let me just check and see if that's still the case. Yeah, you're still showing up as offline to me, so might be that you've blocked me. I don't know, but check your settings in preferences, okay? Make sure that you can...
Okay.
Make sure friends can see you online. That's in your preferences, okay? Anyway, Nina, can you see anything on the bar that you wouldn't expect to see on a bar?
Oh, sorry, the microphone.
It's okay.
Can I see a big 3D brain?
A brain, yeah. So there's 2 glasses of beer. There's a lot of bottles of alcohol. There's actually a bowl of peanuts, actually popcorn, a bowl of popcorn. And at the end of the bar, there's a brain. Any ideas why?
Or demonstrating something.
Yeah, I'm trying to get you to think. What could it possibly be? What has the brain got to do with the bar? Well, there's a clue. I hope you can see the picture. It's to your right, Nina. And we've got some fascinating facts about the brain. where we've been talking about the brain for a few weeks, reading about it, and one of these facts relates to where I'm sitting. Whose brain? I don't think it's my brain. It's far too large. It wouldn't fit me. It wouldn't fit in my head. It's a brain
Oh my
I
color.
borrowed.
Yeah.
But well done, Nina, for recognising it as a brain. Now, of course, I can't always see what you can see, and I know that mesh objects sometimes might look a bit weird, but if you watch the video, you'll see what it should look like. Okay, but it's a model of a brain. Okay, so let's have a look at the facts. Now, remember to zoom in, use Control Alt and your mouse, and you can zoom in to the picture. And Shiny, could you read the top fact about the brain?
Yes. Where's the text?
Yeah, it's on the picture. That's
On the picture?
Yeah, to your right, to your left, to your avatar's left.
But I don't see any picture.
Oh, that's
Let me
good fun.
click it.
Let me move it closer. Okay, very close now.
No, nothing.
No?
I'm sorry.
It might be your connection. Don't worry. Let me see if I can help you. Okay, I'm standing by it now. I'm standing right in front of it.
Okay. Ah, yes.
Okay, good. Now use your camera to zoom in to the very top fact. It's a light green colour. Okay. Okay, if you can't, I can type it up for you. Okay, so read that out for us, Shiny, okay? It's in local chat.
Works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yes! So, the brain never stops working. I guess until we're no longer alive. So, I often say I'm not online 24/7, but my brain is. So what sort of things do you think your brain does? 24 hours, 7 days. What kind of verbs could you attach to the brain?
Aí sim no guarda-roupa que tinha. Por que você vai abrir o cadeado?
Hello,
Ah,
Nina?
tá.
In English?
Sorry.
That's okay. Don't forget to mute if you're not actually speaking to us. That's the main thing.
Sorry.
That's okay. So what verbs could you attach to the brain? What sort of things does it do? Okay, like to think. When we think, it's the brain that's doing the thinking. Any idea, any others? Mange. Not sure what you mean. Mange? Mange? No.
Sorry, manage.
Ah.
Sorry. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, to manage. It does. It manages so much. I mean, we don't think about everything that the brain does. The brain does it automatically, but everything we do is managed by the brain. Yeah, it's a good manager. Anything else? What about what you're doing here on the Learn English Network? Well, your brain doesn't study, but it does help you to learn. You study, but the brain learns. Hopefully. What's the opposite of to learn? Huh?
To forget, maybe?
Yeah, I think I've mentioned this before. Our brain is actually very good at forgetting, deliberately so. So the
So
brain learns. Mhm.
you can teach.
Well, again, I teach, the brain manages what I try to teach. The brain manages my thoughts, where I help you to learn. I hope. But I think sometimes a lot of people just forget.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
It's just the way that the brain works. Okay. There's one, to work. The brain works 24/7. That's a verb, to work. Okay, so Nina, you're a second person here. Could you go round the circle and so read the next fact? It's sort of a golden yellowy colour.
Shrinks in size, is it?
Yeah, shrinks.
Shrinks in size, slow in speed, and becomes less less adaptable to change through the aging process.
Yeah, the aging process.
Aging process.
Now,
Aging process.
some people do say process. I tend to say process because I'm British, but process. Yeah, to process
Aging
the
process.
processes. Yeah. So the brain shrinks. You weren't sure about that one. So let me show you what happens to the brain as you age. Because this is a big brain on the bar. So if you look at the brain on the bar, I'll shrink it. Oh, it's shrinking. It shrinks and shrinks and shrinks. So what's the opposite of to shrink? Yes, you could say to grow or to get bigger. But sadly, your brain doesn't get bigger beyond a certain age. It actually starts shrinking. In fact, if you think about your grannies and grandfathers, and we shrink, don't we? I always noticed that my grandmother, before she passed, bless her, she got tiny, absolutely tiny little human being. And yeah, she shrank, her brain shrank, her thought processes slowed down, and she became definitely less adaptable to change. Any questions?
Your brain decrease along the time.
Yeah. Well, when we're babies, it actually increases very quickly. But at a certain age, yeah, it stops growing and it starts shrinking and slowing down. And of course, other things, illness, can affect it. Okay, Traum, could you read the third fact? So it's a sort of, I don't know, what colour is that? Sort of pinky, peachy colour.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Yep, brilliant. No, I can't hear you now. Would you like me to type it up for you, Shiny? Traum?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, yes?
Okay, I'm sorry. It's the computer as always.
It's okay.
Lynn, what do you want me to read?
The third fact, from the top towards the right, the third one.
Starting from the beginning?
I'll type it up
Why?
for you, okay?
Okay, I got it. Learning something new changes its structure and forms new connections with each new memory.
Yeah. So, you just learnt, Nina, how to pronounce shrink. As soon as your brain processed, there's another verb, to process. As soon as your brain processed that thought, it formed a new connection in your brain. It's really weird to think about it, because it's like, oh, there goes another one. Whoop, there goes another one. And we're learning all the time.
Some say we have a lot of motorways in our head.
Yeah, it is like little roads and paths, making connections, forming little crossroads, linking things to other things, and it's a constant. It's so, well, it's busier than any motorway ever built, and it's more complex than any road system we could ever build. Okay, the next one then, Shiny, could you read the fourth one, the light blue colour?
Yes, you mean music
Oh, no,
triggers
the one above, the light blue, not the mid blue.
origin of human emotions. That
Yeah.
one? Because
That's
yes, okay.
Bit short, but the brain is where our emotions are stored and react, and not just to think, but to react, to feel. Your brain has feelings. You have feelings, and they all originate in the brain. Although we do have a saying, a gut feeling. Any idea what that means? I have a gut feeling. Anybody? Do you ever have a gut feeling about something or someone? No, not necessarily brave.
You mean like a good,
okay, brave.
like a good feeling?
Not necessarily a good feeling either. Okay, to have guts means to be brave. I think that's where you've got this idea of bravery, Shiny. If you say, oh, he's got guts, it means he's brave. But to have a gut feeling, it could be a good feeling, but it could also be a negative feeling. And it's one that you can't explain. When you meet somebody and you instantly dislike them, you might have a gut feeling that they're bad, that they're evil, and it just comes from the gut. It's not from the brain. It's an automatic, I like this person, I don't like this person, and you can't explain it, and we call it a gut feeling. Okay?
Oh, I understand. Okay.
Okay, good. We have them all the time. Intuition, if you like. Intuition. That's a gut feeling. But most of our feelings come from the brain. Yeah, it comes, you think of a person, or you just see something, and you either like it or you dislike it. And we often make that decision in a snap. We don't even know that we've done it until we think about that person or that thing, and you're like, why did I feel like that? You had a gut feeling about it. Your intuition cut in. Okay. Next one, Nina, if you could read the mid-blue one.
Okay. Music triggers dopamine and pleasure centers in the brain, just like sex and drugs.
Yeah, your brain runs on different chemicals. We discussed that last session. And dopamine can be triggered by all sorts of things, including music. So, don't take drugs, listen to music. By the way, triggers. To trigger something.
Triggers.
Yeah.
Trigger.
Okay. Sometimes a smell can trigger a memory. Sometimes a piece of music triggers a memory. A good memory or a bad memory. And of course you have a trigger on a gun. But it's also a verb, to trigger a reaction, to trigger a memory. Okay? Okay, Traum, could you read the peachy coloured one? Yeah, sex is really good for us. Healthy sex is really good for us. Consensual, adult, healthy sex. Very good for our well-being. The brain loves it. Okay. Let me give Traum the text. I should have kept it separate so I could just cut and paste it, but never mind. Okay, so
okay, just
Traum.
one sentence.
Yep.
Just one sentence. Okay. Basis of awareness of self and the world.
Yeah, awareness. To be aware. That's another thing that the brain does. We are aware of our surroundings because of the brain. Even when we don't realise we're aware, catching something out of the corner of your eye, getting a feeling of being cold, of being hot, of being comfortable, uncomfortable. It's all controlled, managed, Chinese word, by the brain. So try it. Awareness, to be aware.
Oh, okay. Awareness, to be aware.
That's it, yeah.
But I think, Lynn, it depends on about the age you are. I think I looked different when I was younger of myself than I do it now in my age.
Yes,
I think
absolutely. We're not as self-aware as very young children. We become much more self-aware as we become teenagers, and we learn to control that self-awareness and become less bothered by it as adults. And then by the time you hit my age, you just don't care anymore.
Yeah, me too.
But we're also aware of the world around us.
It's a very good attitude.
Well, yes, it's mine, so.
I understand you, Lynn.
Good. Okay, Shiny. Some big numbers for you.
Yes, but I can't see it very clearly.
Okay, I can type it up for you, no problem.
Okay. Intricate network of 100 billion neurons, which what 500 trillion synapses. traveling at 300 miles per hour.
Perfect. Yes. 500 trillion synapses or synapses. I've heard both said. Okay. So in your brain, these connections, these pathways are created every time you have a thought, every time you learn something new, and they all go to between these nerve cells, okay, and these things called neurotransmitters pass them along 500 trillion, 100 billion neurons, 500 trillion synapses, and they travel at lightning speed, 300 miles per hour. And they've recorded them. They can watch them now on special machinery. You can actually watch your thought processes and see what triggers different parts of the brain for different things. Now you might be interested in this. I'll post it here, and I'll try to remember to post it in the chat in the forum. And believe it or not, they've figured out, because they can record these synapses and they can follow these pathways, they figured that nouns and verbs actually are learned in different regions of your brain. So when you're learning, when you learn a noun, it goes to one part of your brain. When you learn a verb, it goes to a different part of your brain, which is fascinating. I'm not sure if it applies to German as well. Maybe it's just English learners. Okay, Nina, could you... Oh, actually, I'm standing in front of it. Let me move.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, the bottom one. Could you read it?
Okay, thank you. Code memories, skills, thoughts, emotions, and a sense of self throughout one's lifespan by creating patterns of activity.
Very good. Lifespan. Throughout your lifespan.
Lifespan.
Yeah, the span of your life, however long you live. Because as we mentioned earlier, the brain stops after death. Not immediately after death, which is always a bit worrying to me. What's it doing? I'm dead. It should stop now. But seemingly not. Doesn't know it's dead yet, maybe. I don't know. But eventually.
I think 30 seconds after your
Yes,
death.
yeah, that's it. And then it creates these patterns. Codes.
Patterns.
Code. Yeah, patterns. That's it. If you look at the picture of the brain, you can see lots of different patterns there. Little triangles, lines, forming a pattern of a question mark, if you can work it out. Okay? But it's very highly patterned, actually. But patterns of activity, our habits, the way we think. We become less flexible, less willing to change our mind as we grow older. At a young age, we're much more willing to learn new things, we're much more willing to accept new ideas, and then we become a bit set in our ways. To be set in your ways. We get our life view, we get our world view at a very young age. They're working out how much we learn that we don't know we're learning, when you might think we're too young to learn, but we're still learning. And those patterns set who we become later in life. Have you heard of nature versus nurture? Oh, Nina's crashed. Have you heard of nature versus nurture? No? Okay, if you Google it, it's to do with child development, and it's the sort of thought, are we born the way we are? Or is our upbringing a major influence in who we become? And especially when they look at criminals and bad people, or so-called labelled bad people, were they born that way, or did they grow that way? Did their environment make them like that? Okay? And it's nature, how you were born, versus nurture, to nurture somebody, how you're raised, how you're brought up. Okay? Okay, Traum, can you read the next one? Can you see it?
Can I see? Let me see it. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah, I've posted it up. Okay.
Okay, it's better. Dehydration at only 2% negatively affects memory, attention, and other key skills.
Okay, could you read that second to last word?
Cognitive.
Yay, well done. Sorry, it broke up a little bit. That's it. So what does it mean by cognitive skills? What's a cognitive skill?
I take it could be to connection, one thing with another thing.
It's to connect. It's lots of things. It's actually your ability to think. Okay? Cognitive skills are your ability to, yes, make connections, but to also come up with ideas. It's all about cognition. Okay? And a lot of people in education talk about cognitive ability, the ability to process learning, perception, memory, judgment, some things that we develop as we grow older.
Yeah, and it's so different from people to people. For example, the boy in school I have to care for, his cognitive skills are poor, I have to say. And nobody knows why. It's very hard for him to keep things in mind. I mean, he is not stupid, and he has a big heart, but this ability to think in a cognitive way is pretty hard for him.
Oh, bless. Yeah, when you've got memory problems, that can be really difficult in learning in the way we have learning structured at the moment. School-based learning is so reliant on memory. But as you say, he's not stupid. And unfortunately, many people over the years have been labelled as stupid because they can't remember their 12 times table. But it's not a measure of intelligence, it's just a measure of cognitive ability, of memory. Okay? And some people I know who can memorise lots of different things, they're not very clever.
Yes, that's also true. And most of them don't have a heart because they learn fast. Most of them, not all of them, but most of them. And we have a very good professor who studied the brain, and he gives lots of talks and speeches and writes books about the work a brain does. And it's very interesting to listen to him. Yes, it's a. If someone fascinated you so much, you will be able to learn whatever you want, but only you have to be fond of it. I admire it because it happens to me. When I heard English at the time, a song by John Lennon, I was in flame to learn English.
Yeah, that's what triggered your motivation. Yeah, and it's very true, because our brains want pleasure. They don't want us to suffer. They want us to have fun. We are attracted to having fun, most of us. And therefore, if you can have fun whilst doing the things that will help you through life, it's much better than slogging through a dusty old book, unless that's what you enjoy, because some people like slogging through dusty old books.
Yeah. and it's we all know when a youth or almost grown up people wants to get the driving license, most of them get it. Most of them pass it. Yeah.
Yep, because
even
the motivation.
In school. Yes, even the most stupid.
Well, I don't like
children.
the word stupid. I don't think I like the idea of multiple intelligences, and the label stupid. I think it's been misused a lot. I mean, you might do stupid things in your life, but I don't think many people could be labelled by the word stupid. They're just not doing things the way we would do them. Although I have to say, sometimes I do wonder. But no, most people will do something brilliant and then they'll do something stupid. Then they'll do something mediumly clever and then they'll do something stupid. Then they'll do something really stupid.
You are right, and you are a real teacher, Lynn. I agree.
Oh, dear. Well, sometimes I do really stupid things. Ask my husband.
Me too. But I am not so strong as I was. I am more soft. I am more tender to myself.
Good.
If you
can't be kind to yourself, you can't be kind to other people. You're just pretending to be kind. You have to start with yourself. Be kind to yourself, understand yourself, and then you'll have better understanding of how you react to other people, the gut feeling you might have, and then if you can control that kind of thing, you can make better decisions, I think. But anyway, I'm not an expert. Okay, now here we come to dehydration. Do you know what that means? If I say, oh, you're dehydrated. Let me hydrate myself.
Lynn, is it? Yes, lack of water.
That's it.
I got too less water.
Lack of fluid. Okay. Yeah.
Lynn, what's the difference between fluid and liquid?
No, they're pretty much synonyms. Okay. Different liquids are fluid. They have fluidity. Physics is more about fluids, and liquids can include other things. Okay. If you were looking at it from a very scientific point of view.
Do you mean when I drink elderflower cordial? Mm-hmm. It's a fluid. Then it's a liquid.
It's a liquid.
But when I just drink water, then it's fluid.
Nope, it's a liquid too. Water is a liquid too. But fluid includes things that move in a fluid way. Okay. Let's not get too hung up on it. But in the case of hydration, water, we're talking about liquids and fluids, really. Okay.
Okay.
So all liquids are fluids, but not all fluids. So all liquids are fluids, but there are other fluids that aren't liquid. Haha, there you are. There's a logical statement for you. Welcome back, Nina. Hi. No, don't worry. We crash. We all crash.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. No
So
need to
sorry.
apologise.
You know, when it rains, it's poor sometimes.
Yeah, I know. Anyhow, we were just talking about dehydration and how it affects your brain.
Mm-hmm.
And it affects the brain really quickly if you become dehydrated. That's why I think, Nina, we've already spoken. You drink quite a lot of water, don't you?
Yeah.
That's really healthy. Too much is also bad, but drinking the right amount is good for you.
Yeah. I drink a double of the I need for today, for one day.
So not double, I'd say twice the amount you need.
Twice.
Yeah.
Twice. Yeah. 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 Twice
So
the
if
amount
you,
I need.
I mean, some people drink coffee because they feel their brain is being a bit sluggish. But just drinking a glass of water can refresh your brain just as well as a coffee. Coffee has other stimulants in it, but they're very short-lived. Drinking a glass of water can be actually better. Or, well, we'll come to that, because the next one... Nina, could you read the one just above dehydration? The green one.
Please, the green.
Yeah, I can type it up for you if it helps.
I see. I see. Cannot form memories while drunk. Is it?
Yeah, that's the one. Now, we talked about being hydrated, and I've got a lovely big glass of beer in front of me, but it might not be the best thing to drink, and that's why we've got a bar with a brain on it here, because your brain is restricted. Alcohol can really negatively affect your brain and your ability to form memories. We're going
Can dehydrate your body.
It's not good. That said, I like a beer. I do like a beer. It's not bad for me to drink a beer, but if I was to drink 7 beers, that would probably... In fact, if I was just to drink these 2 great big beers, that's about 7 beers for me. That's probably not the best thing for me to do. Definitely not good for your brain. We'll read more about that next week, but we'll go through these ones today. So, just above that one, there's a pink one, shiny. Could you read the pink one?
Yes. Generates enough electricity to power a small light bulb.
Yeah, your brain is sparking. All those memories and synapses and the neurons travelling, it's all electrical. It's powered by electricity. We generate our own electricity in our brains. If only we could recharge as easily as we can our batteries in our phones, that might be good. Now, did you know that before? You do now. And you know when you learnt that, your brain formed a connection. As long as you're not drunk. And they reckon that the brain has about 100 billion biological wires in it that conduct this electricity. So there's another verb you can apply to the brain, to conduct. Not an orchestra, but electricity. Okay? So there's a brighter pink one just above. Is it your turn to read now, Traum? I think?
Yes, Lynn?
Yeah.
Okay. But I can't read it from the board. It's just too small, the letters.
Okay. I've typed it up for you.
Okay. The most powerful supercomputer known to man.
Yeah. We talk about our PCs and our laptops and our connections, and we talk about supercomputers. I don't know if you've heard the term supercomputer. These banks and banks of computers that run the internet, they're supercomputers. But the brain is actually the most powerful supercomputer. It's not digital though. So that's why when I say to you learn big numbers, you don't manage it as easily as a calculator or a computer. It works differently. But our ability to process, the processing bandwidth of your brain, they reckon it's about 9,000 kilobits. Yeah, I'm not sure. There's a little bit of digital, there's a little bit of analog, there's a little bit of super secret sauce in there. Because we do, it works so much more, it works very differently to the zeros and ones of a computer in bits and bytes. If you wanted to simplify it, you'd have to use petaflops. So you've basically got, they think, again, you can't really use the same correlation to a computer as a brain, but if you want to think in the terms of flops, teraflops, bits, bytes, flops, teraflops, petaflops, then you've got 80 petaflops in your brain. And that's a simplification, but it's fun to think about. About 25 billion firings per second. Okay. Oh, I don't know why it's gone 25 billion. 25 billion firings per second. If your computer could do that, you wouldn't crash, Nina. If your connection was as good as your brain's, you wouldn't crash. I'm bad numbers. No, you can't be a bad number. You are bad at numbers. That's it, you did it, well done. I'm bad at numbers. Actually, you're not. You're brilliant at numbers. Your brain processes them so quickly. It's just you probably don't like them very much and you don't have fun with them. So you decided you're bad at them. Okay, Nina, could you read the... Shiny, could you read the one above? The orange one, please?
Yes, but I can't see it very clearly.
Okay.
Actually, I can't see it. Would you please pause it for me, please?
Yep, sure. Just bear with me.
Would you please post
it
for me, please? And the comment and the chat room.
I am doing. Just give me a moment because I have to type it.
Sorry, I'm not trying to pushing you.
Oh, you are. Go on, there it is.
Okay. Okay, forgive me. Exceptional, powerful, and efficient, yet very fragile, with the tofu-like consistency.
But yeah, it's spongy. The brain is a very spongy material. Now, exceptionally, there's a "ly" on the end there. Exceptional, yeah, the brain is exceptional, but it's exceptionally, adverb, powerful. Very, very powerful. So try it, exceptionally.
Exceptionally.
Good. And yet it is so fragile. Don't drop your brain on the floor, okay? Doesn't bounce. And that's why we have a skull, to keep the brain in. It protects this tofu that we call our brain. So we have the brain, but to protect the brain, we have the skull. him over by his brain. There you go. Okay. Yes, technically, the brain actually doesn't feel pain. It processes pain, but it doesn't in itself feel pain. So you wouldn't say doesn't feel hurt, you'd just say doesn't feel pain.
It's processed in the nervous system. Yeah.
That's right. And that's why pain is such a weird thing, because you can have a pain in your back, but it's not actually coming from your back, it could be coming from your kidneys. The brain can also get confused. There's another thing you can say about the brain, to confuse. I often feel confused. Yeah. And if you remember, I think Traum, we did the perception session on colours and how the brain can be fooled by perception. And you can confuse the brain very easily. Okay, so Nina, could you read the last one?
Yes, thank you. Process about 70,000 thoughts daily.
Yes, 70,000 thoughts.
Big number.
Yeah, I did say 25 billion firings a second, but of course they're distinctive thoughts. Lots of things we don't think about. I don't think about breathing. I don't think about looking at things. I'm processing everything, but I'm not thinking about it. So there is a difference between...
Automatic.
Yeah, what's automatic, the breathing, the touch. I'm touching my desk at the moment, I can feel it, but I'm not really thinking about it. Well, I am now, because I started thinking about it.
But sometimes you need to think, oh, I need to breathe.
Yeah,
because I'm
yes.
so busy. And, yeah.
When you can't breathe, then you'll be thinking a lot about your next breath. Absolutely.
Yeah. Exactly.
Nothing worse than not being able to breathe. But most of the time we take it for granted. Okay, so we've run out of time. We've gone a bit over time, but we did take a while to set up, to start up, but hopefully things will work better next time. We can always cross our fingers, always. Next week we'll read a little bit about how and why alcohol affects our brains the way it does. So I hope you enjoyed the session, and I hope it gave you some food for thought. And a few little nouns and verbs which are now being processed in different parts of your brain. Sorry, did I hear somebody say my name? You say my name. You say my name.
Lynn, please, can I have these pictures?
A copy of the picture? Yeah, sure. Hang on, let me just share it with you.
Yes. I'd like to study it.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. I have got full rights. I can't always share pictures, as you know, because I don't have the full rights with it, but this one I do. So, let me share. Let me find you first. Where are you? Yeah, there you are. Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, so I'll...
Exceptional class today. Exceptional class today.
Okay, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. As I say, it's such a big topic, but hopefully we've been leading into these neurons and synapses, and we learned this in biology at school. I'm not a biology teacher, of course, but I think as we've all got a brain, and they're all pretty similar, actually, in how they work, it's worth learning a little bit about them. Take care then.
That's step by step. Bye-bye. Take care.
Take care. Bye. Thanks for coming.
Bye. Thank you for having me.
So what sort of things do you think your brain does? 24 hours, 7 days. What kind of verbs could you attach to the brain?
Aí, sim, no guarda-roupa no tapetinho. Por que você vai abrir o cadeado?
Hello,
Ah,
Nina?
tá.
In English?
Sorry.
That's okay. Don't forget to mute if you're not actually speaking to us. That's the main thing.
Sorry.
That's okay. So what verbs could you attach to the brain? What sort of things does it do? Okay, like to think. When we think, it's the brain that's doing the thinking. Any idea? Any others? Mange. Not sure what you mean. Mange. Mange. No.
Sorry, manage.
Ah.
Sorry. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, to manage. It does. It manages so much. I mean, we don't think about everything that the brain does. The brain does it automatically, but everything we do is managed by the brain. Yeah, it's a good manager. Anything else? What about what you're doing here on the Learn English Network? Well, your brain doesn't study, but it does help you to learn. You study, but the brain learns. Hopefully. Showing up as online for me, so I think it's just one of those days on the internet. But we're here now, and hopefully you can see around you. You should be able to see some chairs. Nina, you're already sitting on one. And then we've got some bar stools and a bar and a couple of strange items that you might not... what can you see on the bar? Shiny. What can you see sitting on the bar?
Lots of bottles of alcohol.
Yeah, bottles of alcohol, yeah. Anything else?
Beer, a jug of beer, 2 jugs of beer.
Yeah, 2 big
And-
glasses of beer, yeah. Anything else? What about at the end of the bar? Traum, welcome, you made it. Have you got voice, Traum?
Hi, Liv. Nice to see you all.
Ah, hello. Well done. I'm afraid you weren't showing up for me at all, so I had to send you an instant message. You were showing up as offline. Let me just check and see if that's still the case. Yeah, you're still showing up as offline to me, so might be that you've blocked me. I don't know, but check your settings in preferences. Okay, make sure that you can.
Okay.
Make sure friends can see you online. That's in your preferences, okay? Anyway,
Okay.
Nina, can you see anything on the bar that you wouldn't expect to see on a bar?
Oh, sorry, my microphone.
It's okay.
And I see a big 3D brain.
A brain, yeah.
Mm.
So there's 2 glasses of beer. There's a lot of bottles of alcohol. There's actually a bowl of peanuts, actually popcorn, a bowl of popcorn. And at the end of the bar, there's a brain. Any ideas why?
Or demonstrating something.
Yeah, I'm trying to get you to think. What could it possibly be? What has the brain got to do with the bar? Well, there's a clue. I hope you can see the picture. It's to your right, Nina. And we've got some fascinating facts about the brain. where we've been talking about the brain for a few weeks, reading about it, and one of these facts relates to where I'm sitting. Whose brain? I don't think it's my brain. It's far too large. It wouldn't fit me. It wouldn't fit in my head. It's a brain
Oh my
I
God.
borrowed.
Yeah.
But well done, Nina, for recognising it as a brain. Now, of course, I can't always see what you can see, and I know that mesh objects sometimes might look a bit weird, but if you watch the video, you'll see what it should look like. Okay, but it's a model of a brain. Okay, so let's have a look at the facts. Now, remember to zoom in. Use Control Alt and your mouse, and you can zoom in to the picture. And Shiny, could you read the top fact about the brain?
Yes. Where's the text?
Yeah, it's on the picture. That's
On the picture?
yeah, to your right, to your left, to your avatar's left.
But I don't see any picture.
Oh, that's
Let me
good fun.
check it.
Let me move it closer. Okay, very close now.
No, nothing.
No?
I'm sorry.
It might be your connection. Don't worry. Let me see if I can help you. Okay, I'm standing by it now. I'm standing right in front of it.
Okay. Ah, yes.
Okay, good. Now use your camera to zoom in to the very top fact. It's a light green colour. Okay. Okay, if you can't, I can type it up for you. Okay, so read that out for us, Shiny, okay? It's in local chat.
Works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yes! So, the brain never stops working. I guess until we're no longer alive. So, I often say I'm not online 24/7, but my brain is. Good afternoon, it's Lynn here from the Learn English Network on Tabletop in Kitely. And if you want to know what I mean by tabletop, if you've been trying to get in, I've been sending teleports out, but I think a few of you are having connection problems. Always click on the teleport devices, these little S devices. Click, and then you'll see Tabletop MOU. It's meant to be Tabletop Mountain. Click on that, and then click again on the teleport. Without teleport. Oh, that's strange. Nina has problems teleporting. That's odd. Okay. Sometimes these things do go wrong. My connection is not good. Traum is with me. Hey Nina, you made it! Okay, so let's see if I can get Traum as well. Thank you for letting me know, Nina. And let's see if we can find Traum. No, Traum's not there. Traum's not actually online, according to me. So I'll send her a message. Now. Okay. So Nina, can you hear me? Can I hear you? Okay, you can hear me. What about, can we hear you? I think Shiny's worried she's going to have to do all the talking today, which will do her the world of good.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi, well done. Okay. It can be frustrating, I know. And poor Traum's not even